My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. It is time finally for my February check-in. So the check-in video in which I talk about what it was like to be on a budget during the month of February and just generally how things have been going in my life over the past month. I'm sorry that I had to put it off for a couple of videos. Part of what I want to check in about, and I guess we're getting straight into the meat of the video. Actually, I'll insert the title card here. Meat of the video. I feel like in check-ins, the whole video is meat, or the meat is all the kind of stuff that I usually say in the introduction, so it's all the same. I'm glad we got that over with. The video is happening now. The first thing that I wanted to say is that I am going through, I think, the most intense communications burnout that I've gone through since before I started my YouTube channel. And when I say burnout, I don't mean it in the really dramatic way that people have been using that word lately on YouTube. I'm not burnt out as a YouTuber. I mean, I've only been on YouTube for like a year. But I personally, for reasons that only have to do a little bit with my work on YouTube, am drained right now. And it's just been a series of unfortunate events kind of that have caused this, or the events themselves haven't been unfortunate. They've just all required me to give of myself, kinds of communication that have pulled all of the stuff of me out of me and left it out in the open for a long time to be battered by the winds of life. If I do too much of that and I don't balance it out with enough time stuffing stuff back into me, so reading, being alone, taking a bath, just meditating, hanging out, I haven't had enough time to engage in those lately. And that's happened because I've been doing a bunch of the other kinds of activities lately, a bunch of the output. So I realized recently, maybe over the past week, that I am spent. I am completely spent. And the reason I wanted to bring it up here is that the way that it's been manifesting since I am here on YouTube is that I've gotten way, way behind on my communications. So my comment section, I'm really way behind. I have read, I think, almost every comment that's come in because I usually read them as they come in, and then I go back and I heart them and I respond to them. But I haven't had time to do that second part. And I'm also way behind on emails. I'm way behind on my Instagram DMs. I haven't even checked Facebook in like 2 weeks. Even though my birthday happened, I haven't even looked at my Facebook wall. And I'm sure there are birthday messages there. I haven't even read them yet because I hit that wall and then I was just like, no more communications. And I stopped giving of myself in that way because I just need to recharge a little bit. So if you are somebody who has been communicating with me on one of those platforms over the past couple of weeks and there's been a serious delay in my response time, just know that that's not usually normal for me. I'm usually a little more on top of it than this, but right now I'm feeling completely snowed under, way more than usual, and I'm a little bit disappointed that I feel this way, but I'm trying not to compound it by feeling bad about feeling bad, which is something I'm seriously prone to doing. All right, let's get into the meat of the meat. My list of notes. So over the course of the month of February, I was taking notes about my experience and saving them for this check-in. As always, I'm just gonna go through the list of notes and kind of extemporize on the things that I experienced based on the notes that I took. So the first note says the underwear. And what I'm talking about here is the Costco underwear that I bought. If you watched my video about how I spent my budget in February, then you will already know this. As I said in that video, actually, I do value having nice underthings. And the Costco underwear, it's not that nice. It's fine. It's not uncomfortable and it fits me well. And it is kind of hard to find underwear that isn't uncomfortable, that fits you well. Also, it's made out of breathable natural fibers. It's pretty good all around, but it's definitely not high quality. It's not as high quality as the pack that I was buying from Nordstrom. So I settled for less in terms of quality. And that's not usually my MO. I am a quality over quantity person. And in this situation in February, I chose quantity over quality. I am 100% okay with my cheap underwear. And in order to get there, in order to be okay with that, what I had to do this month was let go a little bit of my attachment to luxury. I conceive of myself as a person who really values nice things, really loves to have nice things, and who's willing to invest in having things like underwear be quite fine. To have all of those things really spark joy. And that's all very well and good. And I am still that person, and I do feel that that's true about me. But I had to just let go a little bit of, again, my grip on my sense of perfection when it comes to myself. Yes, it's possible to get exquisite underwear. And yes, maybe doing that would be more Hannah, but it's just not in my budget right now, and that's fine. So I realized I wasn't going to buy the exquisite underwear. I struggled. I let go of one more piece of my luxury obsessed, shopping obsessed ego, kind of like my old pre-no buy ego, and I bought the Costco underwear and I'm fine. And I think part of the reason that I so wanted to talk about this in the check-in is that this is something that wouldn't have happened during the no buy year because I didn't have to think about this stuff during the no buy year. The challenge was so simple during the no buy year. The answer was always no, don't buy it. The answer was always so simple. And I needed that simplicity. I needed those really clear, hard lines in order to spend time breaking myself of the habit that had such a strong hold on me. And now I have the strength and I've given myself the opportunity to muddle into these murkier waters, the waters that I was in this month when I was trying to decide what to do about the fact that all of my underwear was old and gross. So my next note says that about a week into my budgeting in February, the no-buy mentality really kicked in. And this is true. I did the thing where I went to Ulta and I bought the lip gloss and the other two lip products, and then I felt some kind of way about it. I talked about that in the video about what I bought. And then I kind of had this reaction to that event, which is that I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to buy stuff anymore. I don't want to try to decide what to buy anymore. I was like, I want my no buy back. I became aware that if I spend my whole budget every month, that there will come a time when I really want to buy something that I sort of depend on, like an expensive skincare product that I only need to replace once every 2 years. But when that day comes, if I've just been spending my budget all the time, that's going to be really hard on my budget that month. I started thinking about that, and I just started thinking, I don't want to really spend my budget. I want to save my budget. I don't want to be constantly thinking about how I'm going to spend my budget and dwelling on meeting out every little piece of my budget every month. I was just like, no, stop it, none of this. The other thing that kind of kicked in around that same point, or I would say about halfway through the month, is the rage against stuff. I just started feeling, again, this feeling like I have too much stuff, I don't want all of this stuff. And what came from that was a kind of inventiveness or a kind of ultra appreciation, and we talk about this all the time here on my channel, for the things that I already have. So we needed a new laundry basket, or rather we needed something to serve as a laundry basket for our towels. In my opinion, we needed a new laundry basket, and there's a good spot for it, and we have just been going along for far too long without that, and dirty towels will kind of end up in other places around the house, and then they'll get collected and washed. Joe actually does it. Joe washes the towels every weekend, and so he'll like collect all the towels. And I just saw that we needed a dirty towel laundry basket. So I was like, I'm gonna have to buy this, because that's the perfect example of something that Joe doesn't really think that we need. He would have just been happy to go along without one. And so that was gonna be a thing that I had made the executive decision to buy and bring into our home. And so that's the thing that I would have had to buy with my budget, because it's not something where we both saw a need and we both agreed that our home couldn't function smoothly without the thing, those things we buy together and it's separate from my budget. But when I just am suddenly like, this is not ideal, we need this other thing in order for our home life to be ideal in my heart, those kinds of things, I buy those with my budget. So I decided that I couldn't go another day without this laundry basket, even though I have gone years without one. And I briefly shopped. I went online, I went on Amazon, and I was like, laundry basket, like straw laundry basket, just something like good looking laundry basket. I was looking for something aesthetic for our home. And then I was just like, ugh, I don't want to spend the money on this. I don't want to receive this in the mail in a box and then have to recycle the box. I was like, I just don't want to buy this thing, but we really need something in this spot. And then I found a basket in our house that works. And I just moved some things around and I put that basket there, and now we're using it as a laundry basket. And it's perfect. And it's perfectly serviceable. That kind of inventiveness that comes from not wanting more stuff. Another moment that I noticed it was much earlier in the month was actually when I was in Ulta wanting to buy a bunch of lip products. I got to swatch the Flower Beauty lipsticks, and I have wanted to try Flower Beauty for a long time. Sarah Hubler from the Beauty Hub, she raves about the liquid Flower Beauty lipstick formula, and then Georgia Harris is always talking about how amazing the bullet lipsticks are from Flower. And so when I saw the display in Ulta, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get some Flower Beauty lipsticks. And I swatched them, and the formulas are amazing. I mean, they are beautiful drugstore priced lip products. And I was so excited. I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy some of these, I'm gonna wear them. And then I was swatching and swatching and swatching, and I just couldn't find a color that I felt like I don't have, that I want. Every one that I swatched, I was like, well, what's really the difference between this and my M Cosmetics Infinite Lip Cloud and Rose Nude? Or what's really the difference between this and Bite Beauty Chai? Maybe if I'd swatched them side by side, they would have been a little bit different. But in practical terms, in functional terms, I was like, I don't need any of these colors. None of these colors make me feel excited because none of these colors feel new to me. Even though the formulas seemed really exciting to me, the rage against stuff was already building and not allowing that to be a reason enough to buy one. So I didn't end up buying one. So I've been noticing that. I've been noticing little things like that all month long, that even though I am allowing myself to buy things now, as long as I don't go outside of my budget, I'm starting to not want to. And I'm starting to genuinely not want to, like genuinely not want to spend all of my budget all the time, and genuinely not want to bring new stuff into my home. And so I'm doing some of the same things that I was doing during my no buy year to make it okay that I couldn't buy stuff. But in this case, I'm doing it to talk myself out of buying stuff because I know in my heart of hearts that I don't actually want to. So one of the tactics in particular that I'm not sure I've ever talked about on my channel that I wanted to share with you, because there was one moment, one product to which I applied it for which it worked beautifully, is the tactic of imagining myself going through the whole entire process of receiving the thing and incorporating the thing into my collection of things when I'm tempted to buy the thing. So what I did this for and what it worked for was the ColourPop Glitterly Obsessed glitter gel, glitter suspended in gel. As many of you know, I think if you saw my Hannah's Reckoning and I showed you the little pot of Lemonhead LA glitter paste, it's not the space paste, it's the space jam that Wendy decanted and sent to me, and I've been using it and I love it so much. I mean, I love it. Every opportunity that I have to put that glitter on myself, I grab for it. And I really loved wearing it on my birthday, for example. And so I've been doing that thing where I'm like, I love this stuff so much. I want more. I want other colors. I want other textures. I want other shapes of glitter. I want a whole complement of space jams. But really, the one that I have I mean, it's not even a whole one. It's like a little bit of Wendy's that I have. It's gonna last forever. I mean, there's so much of it. You only need a tiny bit at a time. And it's very neutral. It's a silver, so it goes with everything. It's kind of an iridescent silver. Why would a different one be better, or even not different? Like, sure, I could get a gold one, or I could get the clear iridescent one. That was the one that I was really eyeing from ColourPop. I can't remember what they called it, but it came out on Valentine's Day. It had different shapes in it, and it was like a clear holographic or iridescent glitter. And sure, yes, it would look different. I mean, it would look different. So if I did an eye look and then I put the silver glitter that Wendy sent onto one eye, and then I had the ColourPop one and I put it on the other eye, it would be two different looks. But it's the same type of product, and I venture to say that though the looks would be different, they would be equally awesome, because what could be more awesome than the one that I have? And the one that I have, I love it so much that I've been jumping at every opportunity to wear it, but I've really only had like a handful of opportunities to wear it. So why get another one when already I can't wear the one that I have enough? I kept going back and forth. So I kept telling myself all the things that I was just telling you about why I definitely didn't need to buy this ColourPop gel glitter. And I also kept wanting to buy it. And so, and I couldn't kill it. I couldn't like kill the desire for it. But in my heart of hearts, I knew that I didn't really want to do it. I didn't really want to buy it. So I was trying to figure out a way to just let it go. And here's what I did that worked. I put myself through the paces, very, very thoroughly imagining buying it and everything that would then ensue. So I went into my mind palace and I imagined paying for it. So I imagined checking out. I imagined the checkout process. I imagined getting the confirmation email saying that I had spent the money and saying that the package was being prepared. I imagined getting the confirmation email saying that it had been shipped. And it was interesting imagining these things. I didn't feel that great. It's not that great to get a confirmation email where you're like, yay, you gave in, you spent some of your budget on a thing from ColourPop, you know? So I was like, oh, okay. Then I imagined waiting for a really long time, because even though I live in California, it takes a long time for ColourPop to ship. It often takes like a week and a half for it to get to me, maybe even more than that. So I thought about that. I thought about buying it, and then I thought about like, and you know, 2 weeks later, and then I was like, oh, that's a long time. Like, there's no instant gratification here. It's a lot of sit around and wait for this one little thing that I spent some of my budget on. So I thought about that. Then I imagined the day that it arrives. So I'm working at my sewing studio. It's the afternoon. I'm sewing. I have my headphones on. I'm watching YouTube videos while I work. And the mailman comes and the ColourPop pack. So I imagine the envelope coming from ColourPop. I was like, ooh, something that I ordered came in the mail. What an exciting day. Little boost in my day, like a little excitement. And then I open up the package. There's just only one thing in it. You know, like there's just the one little thing that I ordered. So a little pot comes out. And it was funny when I was imagining it, I had this little moment of disappointment when I thought about opening the package and taking out that one little thing that I ordered. Not because it was just one thing, so I'm trying to get over the compulsion to order more than one thing, but because it was like I had a moment where I imagined the difference between the fantasy and the reality. And when you open the package and it turns out that it's just a glitter pot, it's not unicorns and rainbows and life-changing music in that little envelope from ColourPop, it's always going to be just an eyeshadow or just a lipstick. And when you're looking at it online, you build it up to be so much and to mean so much. And then you open the package and it's like, oh, it's made out of plastic. It has a lid. You open it up, there's stuff inside. It's just a thing. It's just a substance inside a plastic thing. And it was in the imagining, I had that moment where I was like, oh, this is what I ordered. This is what I've been waiting 2 weeks for. Oh, it's like no matter how pretty it is, it's just a thing. And in my mind palace, I was like, oh, it's just a thing. I thought about swatching it at work. I was like, oh yeah, it's really, really pretty. And then I had to like wash it off my hand. I took a break from work to wash it off. Fine, it's really pretty. Say it's like the prettiest glitter ever. Say it's prettier than the one I have now, as if that could be true. So I'm really excited. It's really pretty. So I imagine putting it in my purse. I take it home. I play with it on my eyes during makeup playtime. That's really fun. And then I imagined wearing it in my next video. That's exciting. You guys get to see it. I get to tell you about it. It looks pretty. My eyes look pretty in the video. Cool. And then I imagined wearing it again once or twice. Then I imagined wishing I could wear it more and not having the occasions on which to wear it. And I also imagined it competing with the one that I already have from Lemonhead LA. I was like, well, I finally have an opportunity to wear really shiny glitter. Which one should I choose? Too bad I have two, because now I have to let one of them just stay in my drawer. I can only wear one at a time, so that's a bummer. So I imagined that, and then I imagined over time it just sitting in my drawer where I keep my glitters, just sitting there, just sitting there, just sitting there. It's old news. And by the time I had imagined myself all the way through all of this, I had no desire to buy the thing. It had just killed it. Partly because it was like I had lived it through virtual reality in my imagination. Also just because I had popped my own bubble. And then when I saw that that little glitter was sold out, I was like, I don't care. I also wrote in my notes that my eyeshadow project killed my desire for eyeshadow, and my ethical consumerism thing killed my desire for a lot of things, which is true. So the eyeshadow thing, I decluttered my eyeshadow palettes, I depotted some eyeshadow palettes, and then I decluttered my singles, and I did a series of 3 videos about it. I haven't blinked twice at an eyeshadow palette that has come out since I did that declutter. I haven't wanted any more eyeshadow because I feel like I've fought the good fight just to get what I have down to this decent amount. And I have to confess, I received an eyeshadow palette in PR since then from Octoly. So I had 7 after that declutter, and now I have 8. And that's fine. I'm going to talk a little bit about PR later in the video. It's fine, and I actually really do like the one that I have. I'll show it to you during Hannah's Reckoning. It's pretty and it's pretty cool. But I don't want to buy eyeshadow right now anymore, specifically eyeshadow. And I haven't bought any eyeshadow with my budget. I haven't bought any eyeshadows since before my no-buy year. And I have a feeling, well, I wonder if maybe I'll go the whole year without buying any eyeshadow. It could happen. And then the ethical consumerism thing killed my desire for a lot of things. That is really true. I have just cooled my jets. It's another piece of what allowed me to so easily X out of the ColourPop window. When I'm about to buy a thing, now I think about all that other stuff. It's not like what I've learned about all of the companies that I shop from has kept me from ever pushing the button or pulling the trigger. It's been a good antidote to what was formerly a deeply exciting and indulgent feeling always surrounding the buying of anything. Okay, the next note, and this is kind of loosely related to what I was talking about earlier about not social media burnout, but it's like communications burnout or just giving of myself burnout. But I have it in my notes to say that it's been kind of a tough month with comments. For some reason, I never know when it's going to happen. Every several months, there's like a really tough month in the comment section. And for some reason, this month was one of those months. Some people have a really hard time believing that my budget is meaningful or effective while I am also receiving some stuff for free in PR. And all I can say is, yeah, yes, it is. I mean, I'm the one doing it. I am the one budgeting and also receiving PR. And I assure you, the budget is meaningful and it is very effective. Part of me wants to go on and on right now explaining why that is true, but I think that most of you already totally get it. I think the vast majority of you totally get it. And I try not to give in to the temptation to eat up airtime on my channel explaining myself to the vocal minority of skeptics. But it is hard, and it has been especially hard this month. There have been a lot of days this month on which I wanted to sit down and film a whole video explaining why my budget is still meaningful even though I'm receiving PR, or a whole video explaining the difference between talking about something I received for free and doing an actual sponsored video, whole videos defending my purchases and my policies and my words and my appearance and all of the other things for which I am sometimes being picked apart now in the comment section. It's hard not to want to do that, but I have just been treating it the same way that I treat the compulsion to buy something. I just wait it out, and eventually it simmers down and I just carry on. I think all I want to say in this video right now is that it's very easy to judge from the other side of the screen without spending any time really thinking through what it's like to be doing this on this side of the screen. So I'm moving forward, budgeting, making videos, accepting some PR, doing the occasional sponsorship, and I do spend a lot of time thinking about what would be the best course of action. But I'm really doing all of this as trial and error. I've barely been on YouTube for over a year. I'm not sure that I want to keep doing sponsored content, and I'm not sure that I want to keep receiving PR products. I'm just trying it out for now and checking in with myself day by day. I don't think I'm perfect. I am just muddling along, and I have gone out of my way to keep you guys in the loop about my decision-making process about all of these things. I've tried to do my best to keep you in the loop, but the path isn't always clear. So I'm not totally in the loop about everything that's going on. I'm just doing my best. I have talked a good bit on here about my own battle with my own perfectionism and my lifelong struggle to let go of my vice grip on perfectionism. And in some ways, I feel like that's the main thing that my no buy year exposed to me. After several months of not shopping, I was finally able to see my shopping obsession for what it was, which was that I was trying to be more perfect by buying things that I thought would make my life more perfect. After I let go of shopping, I slowly began to let go of the need to be perfect in all of these ways. But it's an ongoing process. It's still going on. And I actually feel like starting to shop again has made the path steeper and more complicated. In any case, I feel like me working to release my own vice grip on perfectionism is a core theme of this channel. And it is super weird to be on that path publicly and to increasingly realize that some of you have a vice grip on my perfectionism and on my ethics and my actions, and a very narrow definition of what I should be doing and saying. That just doesn't fly with me. I promise you, I am trying to do what's best. I am trying to make good, helpful, inspiring content, and I'm trying to run my channel in a way that will make it grow and that will be sustainable so that I can continue to make that content. Experimenting with sponsored videos and accepting products for review are just part of that trying. They're part of that attempt. And I know that most of you understand this. And honestly, I feel annoyed at myself for taking even this long to address the haters, because the vast majority of you are lovers and I love you right back. Phew, okay, that is over. That part is over. That note is handled. And all of that said and done, there is one more thing that I have a note to talk about. Another thing that I've been mulling over this month, and that is that I have actually started realizing that I have a fraught and complicated relationship with free stuff. It's complicated between me and free stuff, I have a lot of mixed feelings and I'm still sorting it out. So I put policies in place that I hoped would stem the flow of free stuff into my life, or at least slow it to a trickle. Not just free stuff, but the flow of stuff. I was trying to control the flow of stuff into my life in the face of the fact that being on YouTube had started to cause me to receive stuff that I didn't buy. And it worked. My policy to only agree to accept things that I truly felt I wanted to have has worked. It has caused the flow of new stuff to shrink to a trickle. So since the beginning of January, there's been a steady trickle of stuff into my life. It's the trickle I thought I wanted, but even a trickle of stuff adds up because I'm just not using stuff up at the same rate that it's entering my life. I'm starting to think that my policy of accepting everything that I actually want isn't strict enough, because the number of things that I want adds up to more than the number of things that I actually want to own and have in my house. So I have noticed my excitement shifting over time. My excitement about free stuff, about PR offers, Octoly, all of the different ways in which things are coming into my life. In January, it was really exciting. I didn't accept PR for my whole no-buy year, but I was getting PR offers. So I was saying no, no, no. And then when I started saying the occasional judicious yes, it was so exciting. Partway through February, it started to seem slightly less exciting. Free stuff is still stuff. And it took me about a month and a half for that to really hit home. As grateful as I am for all of the stuff that comes my way, and I am truly grateful, and there's some of it about which I am very, very excited. I mean, some of it I am welcoming truly with open arms. When I step back and look at the big picture of what's happening right now, I'm not super happy with how things are going. I'm not ready to make a clear decision about not accepting PR or something like that, and I'm not ready to write new rules. I'm just realizing that I'm not super happy with how things are going. And it's not because I'm being criticized in the comments for accepting PR or for doing sponsorships. I know that I was just talking about that, but this is separate. This is something that's happening inside of me. I might get hurt by the comments from time to time, and I do get hurt by comments from time to time, but I don't let them affect my actual choices. Now I'm talking about a dissatisfaction with the state of things, the balance of things in my life, that is coming from an entirely different place. It's actually really coming from inside myself. So I'm just curious. I'm curious about how I will resolve this. I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm not at the end, so I can't report back to you about how I resolved this. I'm just reporting from the middle of the ocean. I will follow my future career with great interest, as Bertie Wooster says. And I will, of course, keep you posted. I might even have more to say about it at the end of March when it comes time for my March check-in. I'm sure that by that time there will be a slew of other things to report back on. I always have a slew of things to report on, and so I'm just curious. We'll see come the end of March if there has been any kind of evolution in this arena. But for now, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself right now so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.